Welcome to Eventful Endeavors, secrets to crafting the perfect celebration. If you're planning an event and looking for useful tips from industry experts, you're in the right place. So get ready to take some notes and we'll dive right in. This is Eventful Endeavors.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Eventful Endeavors. Today we are going back over to Texas, Dallas, Texas specifically, where we are talking to a wedding planner. We have Chelsey Morin of Double Blessing Events with us today. Chelsey, thank you so much for doing this. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, and we love talking to wedding planners because we get so much good advice and so much good information. But
I'm
before
sure
we dive
you get
into
a lot of stories too.
we're definitely going to get into stories because that's my favorite part of the entire thing. But before we get into that, tell me about yourself. So how did you get into wedding planning? Tell me your story about what journey brought you here.
Yeah. So I have this wedding planning company with my identical twin sister, Danae, which is why the name of our company is Double Blessing Events. We love the Lord and we're able to be a double blessing to our bride. So we just thought the name was perfect. But we started doing weddings way back in 2013. And it was kind of a funny story. So Danae and I, my sister, went to separate colleges, but we love planning events. Like we were planning our own birthday parties, even though we were like in our 20s, we were planning church get-togethers. So when our friends started getting engaged, they asked us for help. But since we went to separate colleges, I didn't know that this was happening to Danae too. So we were just talking one day. It's like, wait, you're doing weddings too? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And so we did about a dozen weddings and we were like, we should get paid for this. So we started our business. And God's been awesome. And we've been able to just help so many brides and it's been a huge blessing.
So you guys do it together?
We do. So I actually plan the weddings and then Danae and my team coordinate the weddings on the wedding day. So it really is getting a whole team and a double blessing. You get best of both worlds.
That's what I was going to ask is how you kind of divide it. So you handle all like the planning and logistics leading up to it. And then Danae kind of gets on site and executes it.
Yep. That's exactly it.
That's a good way to divide the, it's actually funny because I recently on the podcast, I'm currently in California. And we have another set of twins that were also wedding planners out here in California that we talked to recently.
That's awesome.
They did.
You know if they were identical?
They were the same day, but they were not identical. They looked very similar.
Fraternal. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
But yeah, it's funny. So I was like, we're the twins, only like 12 episodes in. What are the odds? In different parts of the country. So
that's awesome.
Okay, so here, let me ask you this because I like to ask people this. Say I'm a bride or groom, and I'm just gotten engaged. What's the number one piece of advice you would give them right from the get-go as a wedding planner?
So the number one, the very first thing that they need to do is first off, enjoy it. Enjoy this time. They're going to have so many people that are like, oh my gosh, when's the date? Have you booked a venue? They're going to just clobber them with questions. And they really need to remember what it is all about. It is not ultimately about the wedding day. It is about the marriage. And so many brides, we see a huge mistake that they make is that they make it all about the wedding and they forget about the marriage. And the marriage is the most special, important part. And so that is one piece of advice. Like the first thing that you need to do is just celebrate and rejoice and praise the Lord that he finally brought your man to you that you've been praying for so many years and just enjoy the journey.
Yeah. Before you dive into all the craziness that could be wedding planning, is just kind of take a moment. Kind of take a moment and just enjoy doing that. Yeah. I had somebody say like, don't even start planning for like, give it time. Like just take a month and just don't plan yet. Then you can dive into it. So similar to that, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see people make either early in the journey, late in the journey, whatever it might be, aside from not enjoying it? What are some other big mistakes you see them make?
So one of the biggest mistakes is that brides see it as really they only focus on the wedding day. They think if I can just plan a perfect wedding, then I will enjoy my day. but they forget that there are two other super important factors at play. One of those things is the emotional roller coaster of wedding planning. And I'm sure you have seen, but there are brides that want to people please. Like, they care about what other people think. They're worried about, like, oh, are my guests not going to like the centerpieces? Is the food going to be bad? Should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? Then they have all of the family pressure, especially if their parents are paying for it. Then that other piece comes in of like, well, then should I plan my wedding how my parents want it planned? You know, they feel like that, almost like they're being selfish if they do what they want. And so really not acknowledging that this is just as much an emotional process as it is a logistical one. And just as much as they are looking, you know, they're getting help from whether hiring a wedding planner or downloading checklists or joining the knot, they need to focus just as much on the emotions that come up as well. And for us, since we are Christian wedding planners, we also make this a ministry. So we focus on, hey, like, the Lord is being really gracious, and he's gently revealing that there are these emotional insecurities that you have, and he wants you to deal with those before you go into marriage. Because by that point, it's like, because so many brides will just bury it. They're like, nope, I don't have time for this. I just have to focus on planning a wedding. But it's going to come back up later. And when it does, it's not only going to affect them, it's going to affect their husband as well. And it's going to be their husband that has to deal with the baggage. And so we really take an all-inclusive approach with our couples, where we help them plan all the logistics, where to start, how to find their vendors, everything that they need to do step by step. But we also do counseling sessions with them on the emotions, and we offer premarital counseling. Because the three things that you need to prepare your wedding day. That's the logistics. You need to prepare your heart. That's where the emotions come in. And you need to prepare your wedding. And that's where premarital counseling comes in. So that's a huge mistake that I see, though, is that, and they just don't realize it. They just don't realize, oh, this is a lot. No.
Yeah.
And they don't have the tools to deal with it.
It's a big test. I mean, just like I found during, like, when COVID hit, there was a lot of people that, like, you know, really test those relationships. You're locked down with people for a year or how long. And same with like wedding planning. I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of stress, all on top of living your normal life and doing work. So that's very interesting that you guys kind of help facilitate that. And you're, you know, playing wedding planners and therapists. You know?
Yes. Like, we wear many hats, many hats.
And that's good. And we have talked a lot. I've talked a lot with other planners and, you know, even venue managers that we've chatted with about the budget thing and, you know, parental involvement and, you know, all of that stress that I think is the number one. I think the number one source of stress for everybody is, like, you know, when somebody else is paying for your wedding and they want that say, you maybe don't want it that way. So I guess I'm leading towards a question here, which I guess is like, how do you kind of manage that? Do you sometimes, as a wedding planner, find yourself stepping in between brides and their parents and being like, listen, we kind of need to have a thing here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you ever have to get involved in that?
So we really are, I see myself and how we approach it is that we are in the bride and groom's court. I do not communicate with the parents. Very rare instances I do. Like, of course, when we're getting to the wedding day, giving them all the details, but in the actual planning process, it is not the parents that hire me. It is the bride that hires me. I am here for the bride, and I am here to support the bride and groom. And so just with one of my couples that got married in October, her situation was that her parents were paying for the whole wedding. And she really wanted to make them feel involved, but it was just really stressing her out. Like, how do I make them feel special, but not be selfish? And I explained it to her as, okay, think of your wedding like a house, and they owned a home. So it worked really well in her situation. Think of it like your house. Your master bedroom is what you and your fiance decide. These are the things that are non-negotiable, that we are not going to delegate to anyone else. So like, for example, her thing was the color scheme was really important to her, and her food. And so it's like, okay, we're going to put these in your master bedroom. But then I want you to see, like, everyone else, your mom, your dad, your sister, we're almost going to give them rooms. So what do you want to be in your mom's room? What do you want to be in your dad's room, where they can take that responsibility and you don't have an emotional tie to that? And one thing that we did was the flowers, where her mom really wanted to do the flowers. The bride didn't really care. It's like, great, mom, go have a heyday. Sure. And so we were able to just kind of segregate that and compartmentalize. And that really, really helped her a lot. So that's how we approach it, is we're in the bride and groom's court. We help them kind of work through, like, you're not being selfish, because, and this is another thing. If God calls you to leave your mother and father and cleave to your husband. And so if you show your parents that they can just run over you or determine the decisions that you make, if you give them an inch in your wedding planning, they're going to take a whole mile in your marriage. Like, it is not going to get better. Like, they're going to want to control where you live. They're going to want, say, in what you name your kids. They're going to want you to, always come over for holidays. And it just, it builds and builds and builds. And so they need to set the boundaries now. And that's what we help them with. So then they have a fruitful marriage without, like, parental conflict.
Right. Yeah. Set that early, let's get that out of the way. Yes. That's good. Yeah. I'm glad you did, because that has been one thing that I find comes up quite a bit here. I think, like I said, the thing I think a lot of brides and grooms struggle with probably the most is dealing with that kind of stress. Yeah. So let me ask you this. You probably at this point planned how many weddings you think?
Almost 200.
If you had to get 200? Wow, that's a lot of weddings. So 200 weddings. Do you have a favorite? I've never really asked this question before to anybody, but do you have a favorite wedding? Like something you're like, this was it. I don't know why.
I do. So my favorite bride is Amber, and she knows. She's my favorite. But she was my favorite because she was really the catalyst, helping us realize, like, dealing with that one part is not enough. We need all three: planning the wedding, the heart, and the marriage.
Right.
And she is one of my really close friends, even to this day. She got married back in 2021. And it was so fun with her because she knew that it was an all-inclusive thing. She knew that it wasn't just about the wedding day. And it was just awesome, like, being able to help her in those counseling sessions. And it was just so fun. And it was the only destination wedding that we did. It was in San Diego. Okay. And so we got to just do the whole tropical scheme. And it was absolutely gorgeous. And it was great.
So it was just the bride. But that's it. Like, when you're wedding planning, and even working with any couple, like, it's a relationship. That's going to be like, if you really click, it's like, great, this is going to go really well. So I love that. Similar question. Out of all the weddings you've done, what is the most kind of unique thing you've seen? Something that, like, maybe you don't see at a lot of weddings, or something that just rings a bell, like, oh, that was really cool, that was really sweet, or funny, or whatever it might be.
Yeah. Okay. So a unique theme. Okay. So there was one, she, like, loved Harry Potter. And so she just went all out with Harry Potter, and it was great. And it was just all in the details. And so we had that one. But really, like, the really neat thing about our couples is that the most important thing for them is that they want to convey Jesus to their guests. Like, so we have a wedding coming up, and they love the Lord dearly. He's actually a pastor over in LA. And like, they are just praying that the Holy Spirit moves. They're praying so much that we're going to have a kiddie pool for people to get baptized at their wedding, if God calls them to do that. We're going to take communion. We're going to they're going to share their testimonies and the gospel. It's really, really neat. And so we're just able to help our brides have unique ways to love on their guests and serve them. Because it's also about the guests.
Sure.
Jesus is all about, love your neighbor as yourself. And so, just being able to help them plan those things and help them find special ways that they can do that, but also being a witness to it is really awesome too.
Kind of fun, kind of unique, something you don't see all the time. I like that.
Exactly.
Similar question, and this one I think is actually one of my favorites because I always hear a lot of stories about this. What's the big the cringiest thing you've ever seen, or something in general? In general, you would say by no means should any couple ever do this. It never works. It's just not a good idea. I've seen it and it's bad. Or what's a story of your I wish that never happened.
So this one sticks out to me. It was the bouquet toss. It was time to toss the bouquet.
Sure.
The bouquet was tossed, and she tossed it so high that it got stuck in the chandelier. And I'm talking 20, 30-foot ceilings.
Sure.
So I go and get the venue manager. She's getting a ladder. Oh, no. The groomsmen don't want to wait for that ladder. They start, no joke, climbing. It's okay, Penny. I'll reset that. They start climbing on top of each other's shoulders, making a human ladder to grab the bouquet from the chandelier. And I'm pretty sure that the top guy was literally hanging from the chandelier at one point. And the venue manager and I are just oh my gosh. Thankfully, nothing broke. No one got hurt, but it's oh my gosh. And of course, it was the end of the night when people had quite a few drinks.
Right. So they're a little buzzed and they decide we're going to make a human pyramid and climb to the ceiling.
Yeah. Oh, another cringy thing.
That's why we need insurance.
Yes. Yeah. Another cringy thing is that, so this was not at my wedding or any weddings that I had planned or coordinated, but it was weddings that I have attended where the DJ will just totally butcher the names. And it's oh no. And that's why we have a little powwow with all of our DJs and we have them literally say to us how to say everyone's names. But that's really rough, especially if they get the bride and groom's name wrong. It's oh god.
Yeah, that's not good. As the person who does that portion of the night, I always, ahead of time, make sure I have it spelled out phonetically. I talk to them ahead of time. And then when we line up, I run everybody's name. I got you. You. Also, I try to tell people, can I just do first names?
Yeah.
Do you care? Bride and groom, sure. But bridesmaids, I'm care if I just do your first name? They're nah, first is cool. I'm great.
Yeah.
Especially when you got complex last names. I'm let's just make it easy, guys. Come on. You don't need a full name, right? But sometimes people want it. I'm okay, we're going to make sure we get this right. Because, getting the bride and groom's name wrong is tough.
That's
everybody in the room knows their last name.
MC 101. Yeah.
Everybody in the room knows their name. So it's you can't mess that up. Because everybody's going to be
that one, yeah.
Everybody's going to know this is wrong.
Yeah. If I can ask you a question, what's one of the cringiest things that you have seen?
Oh man. I think this one was just only because it was recently.
Okay.
It always, for me, especially as the MC, it has to do with speeches.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some long speeches, and we've talked to other people on this podcast about never do open mic speeches. It's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
But I had one father of the bride who grabbed the mic. He was supposed to give a speech, and he was a little toasty. He was just just really loud mouth guy,
Okay.
And his speech had nothing to do with anything. He just started telling dirty jokes.
Oh no.
And it was bad punchlines. and like really vulgar stuff. And everybody, like some people were laughing out of awkwardness. The bride was just staring at him. The groom was laughing hysterically because he just thought the whole thing was so ridiculous. But then like his wife was trying to get him to sit down, and he's like, no, they love it. They love it. And he thought it was like a comedy night. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
I was like, should I stop him? I feel like I should stop this, but you know, he paid for the wedding, so I don't know. Like, you know, I'm like, I'm in a position now. Eventually I was just like, whoa, how about make some noise for those jokes?
There you go. Okay.
Let's move on with the night.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. And he was very drunk and like sweaty, and his tie was already off, and it was just make sure you talk to people giving your speeches ahead of time, because nothing is worse than that. Ugh.
Yeah.
I saw a 25-minute Father of the Bride speech once. That was a winner, 25 minutes. And they refused to bring out dinner until speeches were over. People were very mad.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Anyway, these are all on the the no-no list, as I call it. Like, please don't do this stuff. Anything else? While we're talking about, is there anything else you're like, don't do this at weddings? Anything else you always tell people, like, bad idea?
Oh, well, wanting to use a friend as a vendor. I mean, I'm sure you've heard that one.
Yes,
that's
always.
A big one. And the thing is too, I mean, it's just not worth it, because if they don't do a good job, or if they let you down, it's like, it's not worth losing a friendship over.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
And
What? Go ahead. I was just talking to a venue yesterday where they hired a friend as their photographer, and they got just very, very drunk and like did not do anything. Like it was like it was pretty bad. So, you know, don't hire. And you know, your friends should have a good time and have some drinks. You don't want them working, you know. So
exactly.
That's been a recurring do not do list.
That's a big
so let me ask you this, because I like to talk about this. So you've been doing weddings for a while now.
Yeah.
In those, you know, 2013 you said you started, right? So a little over 10 years, about 10 years. What's changed? I mean, what are some of the trends you've seen change? Like, what do people used to do and now they don't do, or they used to not do and now they do all the time?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question.
What's been a big thing you've noticed?
So a big thing that I've noticed is really having fun with it, like getting more personal. I feel like in the earlier years when I started doing weddings, people felt like it was cookie cutter. They were like, well, I saw this person do this, so I'll just do this too. But couples have been getting a lot more creative, and I've seen them be like, oh no, I don't want a wedding like anyone else. Like, I want that special sauce, and, you know, just to make it really, really personal. And that's been really fun for me, because of course I'm building a relationship with them through the planning process. I'm really getting to know them as a person. Like, there was one bride, Amber, my favorite bride.
Sure.
Where in the beginning of the planning process, I'm totally going to send her this podcast too. Yeah.
Shout out to Amber if you're listening.
But so in the beginning, like, we had created her vision and to talk about colors and everything that she wanted. And then we got into the planning process to where it was time to find her florist. And so we jump on a consultation call with the florist. And during the meeting, Amber was really leaning more toward like pastels and more muted tones. And sorry, that's my dog chewing on her toy. If you hear this,
you're fine. We get a lot of dogs in this podcast. We just let.
Mine gets very jealous whenever I'm on a call. Yeah. It's just like, no, I want you to focus on me. But yes, we were leaning toward muted colors and pastels. And I literally pick up the phone and like send her a voice message right after the call, and I'm like, Amber, like, these are beautiful colors, but you have such a bold and bright and fun personality. Are you sure you don't want to go bolder and more fun? And she sends me a message back, and she's like, you know what? You're so right. Like, yeah, let's go bold. So we tell the florist that. She was totally on board. But yeah, it's just being able to kind of see those blind spots or to be able to have discernment when my couple is just like settling, honestly, and helping them to have those personal touches, because they do want personal touches. And that's something that I've seen throughout the years, going from these more cookie cutter, wedding in a box type things,
to
just very unique and very personal.
Do you find a lot of people, and I haven't really asked this question to anybody, but just popped into my head.
I feel honored.
Yeah. Sometimes things just come to me. You never know.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself talking to a lot of people who are like, oh, I saw this on TikTok or I saw this on Instagram? Like, do you get a lot of that where it's like, ooh, I saw, because I'm a little bit, I don't TikTok. I want to, I just can't figure it out. It's hard.
I did my first TikTok the other day. I'm so proud of myself.
I'm so proud. I'm like, I sit to do it. I haven't even figured out Instagram Reels, let alone like this mini movie I gotta make.
To get with Instagram.
I know. I'm dating myself. I sound old, but I just can't figure it out. But anyway, I know a lot of people do it, especially a lot of young brides. Like, do you find yourself like looking at those and being like, I've never seen this, but we can do it, or like we can figure it out. Somebody's got to know.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of brides that will send me things like, oh my gosh, I just saw this on Instagram. This is great. Like one, it was so cute. It was the Bippity Boppity Boo song from Cinderella. And it was basically how all the girls like were lined up in their PJs and their robes, and they were dancing, to the music. And then it goes Bippity Boppity Boo. And on Boo, it changed to when they were all in their dresses. And it was so fun. So Amber did that. And then I had a bride who sent me one on like giving her guests, or I think it was just her, like Polaroid cameras, just to take shots like during getting ready, and then giving it to her parents as a little sweet, sentimental gift. But they'll send me ideas all the time. And then same for me. It's like if I'm scrolling through Instagram or Facebook, it's like, oh, this is great. Like I will send it to my bride and be like, this is what we're talking about. Like, wouldn't this be so fun? So yeah, we use Instagram a lot.
Yeah, I try to get better at it. I do see a lot of really cool things on there. But I haven't quite figured out how to send it. It's that kind of thing. So I feel like
Google is a great tool.
Yeah, I know. So much work. No, I'm just kidding.
How to understand Instagram.
I need like one of those Instagram, like TikTok for dummies or something like that. But
I'm sure there is one.
Yeah. Anyways, so before we kind of wrap everything up, I mean, we touched on this a little bit, but I was just going to ask you, like, what kind of sets you guys apart? What kind of makes you guys unique? I mean, obviously, the whole like, hey, we're basically your therapist thing is a huge selling point. But is there anything else you kind of want to mention? Anything else that you're like, this is something that's really important to us, and why we're kind of a unique service, and why you should, reach out to us?
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing is our faith. Like, we love Jesus. Sure. We love the Lord and serving him. We love encouraging our couples. We'll start every prayer session or every planning session with prayer, because even though we are technically their wedding planners, God is the ultimate planner, and he already has every detail of their wedding planned. And we just get to, find out what it is and help navigate them through that. I like to say that we're like their wedding planning GPS. Like we're in the passenger seat and we have the GPS and we're telling them where to go. But we give options. We love giving our brides and grooms the pros and cons. Like, hey, you can do this option, or this option. Here's the pros and cons of this one. Here's the pros and cons of this one and this one. And really just kind of giving them our expertise and our guidance. But it's like, hey, you guys are in the driver's seat. You make the decisions, and we're just here to guide you and show you the way. So you don't have to worry about where to go or what to do or when it needs to be done. All the things. So that's one thing that makes us different. And we like calling it or phrasing it, we don't plan your weddings for you. We plan your weddings with you. It is very much that relational relationship. And then just the all-inclusive approach, like focusing on all those three things, because it's really, really key to enjoying every moment. So
I love it. Well, obviously, thank you again for being here. Thank you for chatting with me. It's been a lot of fun. We'll link to all your stuff in the, your Instagrams, all that stuff, so people know where to find you. should they want to book and whatnot, for all of our brides out in Texas. Do you do a lot of destination stuff, or do you mostly stay local?
No, we stay local. We're local in Dallas. Yeah.
Except for Amber.
Except for Amber. Yes.
Shout out to Amber. Okay. Thank you so much for doing this, and we'll send everybody your stuff, and it's been a real pleasure. So thank you for being here, and you have a great rest of your day. All right.
You too. All Thanks, right. Shawn.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Eventful Endeavors, Secrets to Crafting the Perfect Celebration. We hope to have left you with some actionable ideas for your own event. If you like the show, please subscribe and definitely leave us a review. We read every comment. So until next time, happy planning and see you soon on Eventful Endeavors.